Let's dive straight into our explainer today with the story of a little gnat named Sprat. So, picture this. Right now, Sprat is wobbling back and forth in the air, just frantically searching for a new home. He actually had a really lovely little bungalow set up in some branches, but, well, a very hungry-looking bird just moved in right next door. So, in the interest of not becoming a quick snack, Sprat packed up his tiny bags to go find a spot with neighbors who were, a little less interested in putting him on the menu.
So he takes off and flies over a swamp. And honestly, while it smells incredibly inviting if you're a gnat, he knows exactly what's waiting down there. The frogs would absolutely have a field day with him. Literally, in a flash of a tongue, they'd turn a tiny fly like Sprat into a little green puddle. And even if he managed to find a good log to rest on, the lizards were down there, just patiently lurking, completely ready to strike. He flies around for a long while, really feeling just how tough it is to be a tiny fly in a big, hungry world.
But eventually, Sprat spots what he thinks is the absolute perfect location. It's this great big brute of a bull, and we're talking massive. Thick black fur and these bright white horns that taper down, deadly as a dagger. Sprat just hovers there, watching as the bull snorts, stamps his massive hooves, and grunts. All the other animals, they give him plenty of space. When birds try to land on the bull, he just grunts, shakes them free, and practically chases them off, looking like he's actually enjoying it as they flap away wildly. To Sprat, this looks like the ultimate security system.
Now Sprat gets an idea. He realizes he doesn't weigh nearly as much as a bird, right? So he figures he can probably land without this giant beast even noticing. Very carefully and very, very quietly, Sprat floats down and lands right on one of those big, curving horns. He tiptoes back and forth a few times, kind of testing the waters, until he is absolutely sure the bull can't feel him. Then he settles in with a really contented sigh. Finally home, he says to himself. I can't wait to tell my family about my great new place.
Well, him buzzing off to tell his family sets off this completely wild, rapid chain of events on the horn. That very same afternoon, his parents drop out of the sky in silly circles to see the place. By the second morning, his sister crashes the party. By the third morning, 20 cousins appear out of nowhere. And just 1 hour after that, a literal small army of gnats descends upon the bull. Let me walk you through exactly how this happened.
It all starts when his parents arrive. They look up and down this massive horn, and they are completely impressed. Sprat is just beaming with pride, explaining how the bull keeps all the hungry critters away. But then, his parents immediately announce that they are moving in too. Sprat literally blinks his bug eyes in surprise. He gets nervous, mentioning that, hey, if there's too much weight, the bull will get mad and kick them all off. His dad, entirely unbothered, serves up a heavy dose of sarcasm. Oh, that's okay. He doesn't want us around. Let's just go to the swamp and fly right into a frog's mouth. Save us time, and then we won't bother our poor boy.
And Sprat cares deeply for his parents, so naturally, he caves. What's he gonna do, right? He admits the bull doesn't seem to care yet and tells them they can stay. Without missing a beat, his dad sinks right into Sprat's favorite chair, just totally making himself at home, and immediately asks for some of the drewy grass Sprat had mentioned earlier. The parents completely ignore Sprat's lingering worries about the bull noticing the extra residents. Sprat just sighs, reckoning what's done is done, and goes to sleep early, exhausted from all the moving.
But yeah, that piece, it does not last. He wakes up early the very next morning to this shrill, familiar voice shouting directly into his ear. It's his little sister. She announces that her old puddle got dried up by the sun, so she's just going to crash with them for a while. And she immediately starts teasing him, loudly asking, "Do you still buzz in your sleep? Buzz, buzz, buzz?" Sprat warns her that the bull is going to notice and kick them all out, but she just brushes it off, saying she's been there all morning, and the big bull is way too busy charging around to notice a thing.
So Sprat tries to relax, and things go fairly well until the following morning. He wakes up blurrily to the sound of laughter and buzzing wings. He looks around, and standing right there are his sister and all 20 of his cousins. Suddenly wide awake, Sprat shouts that there are too many of them, and the bull is going to feel them and smush them right into the mud. His sister? She just rolls her eyes and quips, "Good morning to you too. Someone woke up on the wrong side of the horn."
Sprat very reluctantly lets the cousins stay, but on the strict condition that absolutely no one else comes. But almost right on cue, his parents buzz over to announce that since the cousins love it so much, well, all the aunts and uncles are moving over too.
Because think about it, 20 cousins means 20 sets of aunts and uncles. And those aunts and uncles, they invite their friends, and their friends invite everyone they run into along the way. Soon, this massive cloud of little gnats descends from the sky right onto the horn, immediately starting a full-on cheering party on Sprat's house.
Sprat tries a few more times to complain politely, but his voice is just completely lost in the noise. Inside, he is boiling with frustration. He looks around at the massive crowd strung out along the curving horn, and he's just wondering, couldn't they see the danger? Couldn't they tell the bull was going to stick his horns in the dirt and smush them all into the mud? He loves his family, sure, but the sheer volume of them is terrifying him right now.
Finally, Sprat has had enough. He bellows, cupping his tiny hands around his mouth, and flies high into the air. His voice booms out over the noise, so loud that everyone actually stops and turns to look at him. He yells, "There's too many of you here. This is my house and you need to leave now." Someone in the crowd calls him a party pooper, but Sprat drops all politeness and just shouts for everyone to get out of his house.
Slowly, the massive crowd realizes he is entirely serious. The party is over. They are not welcome on the horn, no matter how good of a home it is. Throwing dirty glances at Sprat, the Gnats begin to buzz off into the sky. His mom shoots him a deeply disapproving look, telling him he is being very rude to their guests. Sprat argues back that he was just trying to save them all from being smushed. His dad just says quietly, "Come on, dear, let's move back to the bushes," and flies off, leaving Sprat totally alone on the horn for the first time in days.
In the quiet that follows, Sprat takes a deep breath. He finally has the peace to think. Now, he loves his family, and he didn't feel great about yelling at them, but he was terrified of his giant landlord. So he decides to take action. He says to himself, maybe I should just talk to the bull. If he's upset, I could at least apologize. So Sprat buzzes off the horn and wings his way right over to the bull's massive snout, wiggling back and forth until he finally has the beast's attention.
Sprat calls out, immediately apologizing for the party and promising it won't ever happen again. The giant bull stops, slowly crossing his eyes just to be able to focus on the tiny little gnat hovering right in front of his face. The bull looks confused and asks, "Oh, a little fly. When did you get here?" Sprat, completely stunned, replies that he's been there for days. The bull then asks what this is about a party, noting that he certainly wasn't invited.
Sprat stammers, You didn't feel us?" And the bull just laughs. It's this deep, vibrating rumble that literally shakes Sprat off his feet and forces him to hover in the air just for safety. The bull tells him, "Little fly, I doubt I'd notice if 1,000 of you lived up there. Just stay out of my face and we're all good." He then casually shoos Sprat away, noting that he has grass to eat.
Sprat quickly buzzes away back to the horn. He sits there, empty and alone, realizing his mistake. The bull was so enormous, of course he would notice a tiny family of gnats. Sprat had chased off his parents, his sister, his cousins, his aunts, and his uncles over an issue that didn't even exist. He reflects on it, and while their rudeness and completely ignoring him did still sting a bit, he knew he didn't want them to leave him alone forever.
So he decides he needs to go clear the air. He buzzes off the horns as fast as his tiny wings can carry him. But as he flies out, he stops. He is completely shocked to see a massive cloud of gnats, his entire family, flying right back toward him in the sky. He hovers there, looking at them, asking what they are all doing.
His sister speaks up first. She's buzzing about, admitting that they had talked it over and realized they did completely crash his house without listening to him. Then, his mom steps in with a really sincere apology, saying, "You were telling us you were worried and we weren't being respectful." His dad follows up, agreeing that it wasn't okay for them to just invite more people over after Sprat explicitly asked them not to, and promises they won't do it again.
Sprat smiles at his family. He returns the apology, saying he is sorry for the way he yelled and lost his temper, explaining he was just really frustrated and scared. Then, with a twinkle in his bug eyes, he reveals the big news. He tells them that he actually went down and talked directly to the bull about having people over. Everyone looks at each other, buzzing around uncomfortably, just waiting to hear what the giant beast had said.
Sprat pauses for dramatic effect and then delivers the punchline. He tells his family that the bull said, "Party on." For a split second, everyone just stares at him. And then, a massive, raucous cheer erupts from the entire gnat family. The party was officially back on, and this time, absolutely everyone was invited.
So Sprat leads the massive cloud of family members right back to the White Horn. The gnats party incredibly hard all over their new home, while right beneath them, completely oblivious to the celebration happening just inches from his ears, the huge bull happily continues to chew his grass. Ultimately, Sprat's massive family got the perfect home, and the giant bull didn't feel a thing. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many giant beasts out in the world are unknowingly hosting massive parties right this very second?